Hello, 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 my gorgeous Sagittarius friends. My name is Katerina Barrie. Welcome to your 2024 forecast. I am so excited to be here. Welcome to your reading. Okay, before we get started, we're going to get into a couple of things that I like to discuss as we head into those readings. Okay, first of all, if I sound a little bit congested, you guys, I've been battling a little bit of a cold, so please bear with me, and thank you for your patience. I'm very, very excited to be here. I could not wait for this reading. I'm gonna talk a little bit about what Sagittarius means to me, okay? But again, before we get started, welcome. If you're watching this on Facebook Live, this is where I stream these types of things in real time, okay? If you're watching me on a different platform, I want to invite you to follow me on Facebook or send me a friend request, whatever feels more comfortable for you. I am a professional psychic. I have been working with clients in psychic capacity for the past 5 years. I've been practicing the craft and learning the ropes for the last almost decade, okay? So I am a tarot master. My first and foremost tool is tarot. That's what we're going to start the reading with. We're going to proceed with some very special oracle cards that I have selected for you guys. And a couple of important ethics for me to bring up at the start of the reading is that I don't believe in or practice fortune telling, you guys. I have had some very challenging experiences. That is an entire different topic. When it comes to precognition, which is foreseeing events that will happen before they happen. That is extremely rare, and unfortunately for me, these were the cases where truly there could be nothing done to change the course of the events. And I would say that's a gift that I kind of struggle with, because it's almost like there isn't much to do, but there is this information available, okay? That's not what we're focusing on. When someone says fortune telling, to me, that means that someone else can predict your future for you, and that's a huge red flag. As a psychic, as an esoteric scholar, as someone who believes that we are here to learn and evolve, and become better versions of ourselves, and even manifest versions of ourselves that we have not yet even been able to access, to me, it's preposterous and insulting to consider that someone can just read your fortune. I think that's actually an insult to the esoteric endeavor of seeing what it is that we have within our power to change. So we're focusing on what's within your power to change, to effect, to desire, to command into existence, to manifest, okay? All of my readings are based on this portal that is available to us in the present moment, okay, that allows us to use certain tools, to use our intuition, to use assistance of those who choose to devote their life to decipher such matters, which I am proud to consider myself to be in the category of, okay? Our goal is to look at everything that we have in the present moment, and to look beyond what we're seeing, to look beyond what is right here in front of our eyes, and to see what's available for us in order to change our past. You guys, we can change our past. We can look at it from a different perspective. We can see certain events that have already occurred in a way that actually serves us versus the way that holds us back. Okay, that's a power. That's a power to change your past. And we have the power to co-create our future, okay? Why do I say co-create? Because you're not the only one here. This is your world, this is your reality, but there are other people involved, there are other forces involved, and you're part of all of it. So considering the part that you have currently, the part that you could have potentially, you have this great area of power to decide what you actually choose for yourself. Okay. And choice has to be backed up by this decision-making ability to commit to something beyond reasonable doubt. That means to some blind faith, to some that means determination. Okay. It's up to you which resonates with you more, but I want to make this very specific note as we get started that no matter how profound this channeling can get, if it truly resonates with you, there will be some takeaways. There will be some key points that you will have this room to act on. This is called integration. So whatever I say, whatever resonates, whatever comes through, whatever I channel and translate for you tonight, Sagittarius friends, you can take it or you can leave it. But if you take it, it's up to you to implement it, okay? If something resonates and there's a piece that comes with it that tells you to look at something, to work with something, to lean into something, and you're like, yeah, that sounds about right, and then you don't do it, please don't blame it on me that the outcomes do not show up, because I believe that you have a choice. I believe we have free will. I stand by that, and that is absolutely true for me. So when it comes to the messages that I deliver, if they do resonate, if it's like something, if it feels like something that you want to pursue, right? It is up to you to take action on it. And that's what puts these wisdoms into effect, okay? But again, the decision is entirely yours. Now, you guys, there's also a link on this video somewhere. If you're watching me on Facebook, if you're watching me on a different platform, it's in the description. This is a way to work with me throughout the entire 2024, even a little bit beyond that. I'm going to talk a little bit about that at the end of this video. It's an investment. It's a commitment. It is for the right time. It is for divine time. It has to feel right on your end. And if it does, it's going to feel like this is the greatest gift I can give myself going into 2024. So again, we're going to focus on that a little more towards the end. And for now, let me see if I've forgotten to mention anything. I think we've covered all of it. For now, we're just going to get started, okay? To me, tarot is a language. It's a tool that allows you to put chapters together that form a storyline, that form an entire plot that can serve you in the way of understanding where you are now and where you're coming from, and what is queued up as a progression. And this gives you the power of choice. What are you going to do with this information? How are you going to apply it? And how is it going to serve you? Okay, Sagittarius, I love you guys so much. You have a very special place in my heart. Sagittarius is my rising sign. That's the last thing I forgot to mention. If you're a Sagittarius sun, that means you say, I'm a Sagittarius. When someone asks you, what sign are you? Okay, you're in the right place. If you have Sagittarius placements in your astrological chart, a little more advanced, this is going to be perfect for those placements then. Okay, you guys, let's get started. I'm very excited. I have the privilege and honor of having my best friend live with me on the stream. Her name is Angela. She is a Sagittarius. She's my best friend. She's my soul sister. And I asked her to join us on this live stream to contribute her energy to this gathering. You guys, Sagittarius is my rising sign. It's also the opposite of my sun sign. My sun sign is Gemini. Gemini is directly opposite to Sagittarius. I've had some great loves that are the sign of Sagittarius. I've had incredible mentors that practically changed the course of my life that were Sagittarius. So I have a little bit of a, I don't want to say bias, but I have a little bit of an affinity that is maybe exclusive to the sign of Sagittarius. So it's my pleasure and honor to serve you tonight. Let's get started. Let's get into it. Okay, so we're going to pull 3 tarot cards. We have, right, there we go. Just, you know, right there, just getting started with a bang. We have the Empress upright, okay? Now, this card represents the absolute pinnacle of feminine energy. Not so much in the esoteric sense of channeling intuition. That's more the high priestess in tarot. In tarot, the Empress here, you guys, just take a look at this card. Represents the absolute perfect manifestation of sensuality, pleasure, enjoying life, feeling connected to the force of nature that creates life itself. Being a mother for some of you having the capacity to create worlds that is perhaps applied to motherhood, perhaps is beyond motherhood, okay? The Empress is the embodiment of sensuality. The Empress is the enjoyment of having a physical form. Now, you guys, it wouldn't be me doing this reading if I didn't bring a little bit of controversy in here, because you know what? It wouldn't be my choice unless I was choiceless in experiencing how harsh the culture and the spiritual conditioning is still to this day in this world towards feminine energy. I'm not going to dwell on it, but I'm just going to mention that in a lot of spiritual schools of belief, in a lot of traditional religious attitudes, this kind of feminine embodiment is seen as evil for no other reason that it is feminine, okay? This is saying that sexuality is evil. This is saying that sensuality is evil. This is even the belief that this earth is some kind of punishment, that this body is a prison. And you guys, I despise these messages. I have nothing against religions or schools of thought or beliefs. I truly stand by the fact that I would love nothing else than for every single human on this planet to be able to believe however they want, okay? That's where I'm at. But the fact remains that the majority of the belief systems that tend to dominate societies of modern world and have dominated them for a long time now, believe that this right here is sinful in its nature. Femininity is sinful in its nature. It's seductive, it's scary, it's mysterious, it's incomprehensible to the man, and thus there must be something evil about it. I completely disagree, but I want to acknowledge this point, not to stir up controversy, which I normally love doing, by the way, but that's not what we're here for, Sagittarius, at least not tonight, okay? I'm bringing this up because we have this internalized sense of thinking that this nature of our own is somehow sinful. Why do I say our own? I work with women, I mentor women, I serve women in my work. And I understand that a lot of different folks are hearing my messages, and I welcome all of you, but I'm speaking to women and I work with women. So just want to make that distinction very clear. For us women, there is something inherently forbidden about our own nature in most instances when it comes to us being socialized and culturalized by societies and religions, and cultural influences that deem this feminine sensuality, this feminine mystique, this feminine embodiment, this being of the body, this being of the senses, this being very much here, indulging in the taste of chocolate, indulging in the erupting pleasure of being with your lover, indulging with this beauty that you are, because you look at yourself in the mirror and you're like, who is that? You know, this all is feminine nature. And you know what? It is absolutely indistinguishable from the power that allows humans to reproduce, you guys, on the very base level. I don't want to get heated. I feel like I'm getting heated. This is what happens when I interact with the energy of Sagittarius. And honestly, I love it so much. But you guys, I'm gonna keep myself tethered to what we're doing here. I promise I'm gonna do my best. But the fire here is that you have the power, Sagittarius, to set yourself free from this absolute bullshit. Pardon my French. That is this conditioning that may still resound in some recesses of your mind, telling you you shouldn't enjoy yourself so much. You shouldn't look at yourself in the mirror so much. You shouldn't be vain. You shouldn't be worried about your outfit. You shouldn't be worried about what you look like. You know, it's not. It doesn't mean anything. You shouldn't be proud. You should be humble. You shouldn't express yourself. You should just tame yourself. You should fight for other people's causes. You shouldn't really speak about your things too much, because look at what the world is going through. You know what, you guys, if I could give you a big message tonight, if that's the only thing you would take away from this live stream, is what I want to give you is burn that. You know what? Burn that. Set it on fire, burn that, and stomp out the ashes, because that is not even yours. That's not the future of where we're headed as this planet. I promise you, the great swing of things always catches up. The great pendulum of the universe never skips a beat. As far as it has swung in the direction of misogyny, is as far as, unfortunately, honestly, because that's also extreme, but that's as far as it's going to swing in the opposite direction. That is not my thinking. This is not my fortune telling, because again, I don't practice that. That is the great law of the universe. So that's fading out. You don't have to worry about these concepts. If you're an esoteric scholar and you're catching on to what I'm saying, congratulations. But, you know, besides the point, we have to honor this energy that we are on this planet, which is, this body is not a prison. This body is a gift. This intuition, it's not sinful. It's the greatest extrasensory capability that human beings can experience, and it comes through the feminine and the feminine body. This beauty, it's not vain. And you know what? If it's only vain when we take pleasure in our own beauty ourselves, but it's not vain when it comes to pleasing a man, then that concept is a little bit skewed. So it can't be one or the other. And it's not vain to take so much pleasure and pride and joy in how beautiful you are, and not compared to someone else, but in how at home you feel within yourself. That is a gift. That's a feminine gift. Sexuality is not a curse. It's what creates life. But beyond that, that's not the only application of it. And that's not just humans, you know? Every aspect of nature desires pleasure, desires expression, desires recognition. So having this nature within ourselves and being called seductresses, instigators of something sinful, that's just not correct. The nature of the universe, the feminine nature of the universe, calls the spark of the masculine to ignite creation. There is this great abyss, this darkness. It's nothingness. It's everythingness. It's pure potentiality, yet nothing is yet created. And this abyss, it calls on the light. It invites the masculine to come and make something happen. So the nature of the feminine manifest in human body is seductive by design. It's not sinful. It's the way that God has intended. And yes, to some of you, this may sound as a little bit of a blasphemy, but remember, you're here listening to Katerina Barrie conducting a psychic reading and channeling. So, you have to be either okay with it, or you have to understand that you're not okay with it, and yet you're here for a reason. You guys, 2024 Sagittarius, this is the year that you abandon all the teachings that have kept you enslaved to being ashamed of your own nature as the feminine supreme. You have to reclaim your absolute ownership of everything that you were created as. Okay? This channeling is so intense. It's almost like, wow. Okay, you guys, I'm gonna take a little sip of water. This is card number 1. Let's see what the other 2 are. Okay, so let's see what card number 2 is for my Sagittarians. Oh, so we have a 6 of swords. It is a reverse. It's a reverse card. So there's a little bit of a, so, you know, you were, let me make this message become a little more distilled here. I feel like you were, so in upright, this card shows a quiet passage, okay? But it's reversed. So you were hoping to make a quiet transition. You were hoping to quietly move from one phase into another without making a big deal out of it. You know what? I think maybe to avoid some confrontation, or to, you know what? It's not even confrontation. I feel like for a lot of you, you don't want to stir issues, stir things within yourself that you're not ready to address yet. This is understandable, okay? You got to see this image, okay? These swords, they're sticking into the boat. If you really look at it, the swords must be stuck in the boat. So that means if you pull them out, while you're mid, transition through this lake or river, whatever it is, looks like a lake because it's still. All right. So if you take them out, the boat's going to flood. It's going to sink. So it's understandable when you're trying to make a transition. The cards, you got to realize they're a metaphor. So the swords represent thoughts. This is patterns of the mind that have not been healed yet. These are your patterns, not yours necessarily, like not ownership wise, but this is something that's been part of your human consciousness that you're looking to not have anymore. You're making this transition. You're looking to get past a certain threshold so that then you can, safely take these things out and not drown, right? So you're navigating a challenging path. You have things that if you start unplugging them, a lot is going to come up, and you don't want to be kind of brought under it. It's understandable. But what's coming through is that Sagittarius, I hate to say this because I love you guys so much. I am a little biased. I love my Sagittarius. Okay. I don't want to deliver this message, but it's for your own benefit. So I'm going to do my best to just, bite the bullet, basically. You can't make this transition until you deal with these things. There's not going to be a sailing wind. There's not going to be a momentum. You're going to be sitting in this boat and pedaling, and there's going to be no movement, okay? I just don't want you to waste your time. You can't make the transition until you deal with the things. So what are the things? The things are... Okay, I need a little more water here. All of a sudden, my sinuses are like... I've been having a little cold for a couple... like almost a week now. It's mild. I apologize. But right now it's like right there all of a sudden. Okay. So what are the things that you need to address before you can make a transition? These are things that you feel there. Like, okay, I'm gonna use an example. It may be a little unsavory. I have a metal plate in my arm. It's right there somewhere. I broke my arm when I went to Mexico for my 23rd birthday. Brought back a souvenir that's been part of me ever since. And recently it's been pretty cold in Charleston, which is not typical for this area, but it comes through sometimes. And I've been feeling, I never feel this plate. I don't feel anything, I've become used to it. But because of the cold, something with the metal and, whatever it is, I've been really feeling like that arm, the plate, where it's connecting my bones together. It's been very sensitive. It's affecting like other areas of my arm, my shoulder, like everything. It's not terrible, but it's there. That's what I'm talking about. But it's on a mental level. It's not a physical injury. It's something that is part of your thinking that shouldn't be there. It feels like that plate. It's like a something in there that you want to get it out. Like, it's not part of your natural being, but it's affecting your thinking in the way that you're thinking in these ways. That is like, I just need to get this out. And you guys, I understand that you want to make this passage, and you want to make this passage into this more secure and supported place before you can address these things. But 2024 is telling me that for you, Sagittarius, that you're going to make the transition very quickly when you address these things. Not the other way around. And if you're avoiding these things and you're looking to make the transition first, you're going to be sitting in that boat, and there is not much headway available. So I don't want you to spend the year 2024 trying to cross the water, trying to get there to the next level, to the next phase, to the next level of being supported and nourished and expressed and actualized, before you address these mental patterns that don't feel like they belong, they feel foreign. You know, I think for a lot of you, that relates to the first message that we just talked about. There are thoughts that are hateful of yourself, perhaps. Thoughts of shame, thoughts of guilt, thoughts of not being enough, thoughts of, this is the phrase, I feel like there's something fundamentally wrong with me. That is a lie, that is a poison, and that is a parasite. No human can actually claim that for that to be true. There's nothing ever fundamentally wrong with any human being, no matter how messed up they appear to be to others, for real. Every human being is a perfect manifestation of what human being is. Now, for you to address this, I feel like you will have to... The hardest part with this message, and it's getting really deep, it's getting to the level of like, I feel like this is like more for therapy than it is for psychic reading, okay? So I'm gonna honor this little boundary that I just felt. Like, I'm not gonna go too far with this, but I'm gonna say this. The hardest thing that with this message that I see is that you're gonna have to divorce yourself from how long you have believed this crap. And this is gonna be hard, because it's like, so if I accept that this is not even true, and it's not even mine to carry, does that mean that I've been wrong this entire time? Does that mean that I've believed something that wasn't even mine for me to believe? Does that mean that I've accepted some false conditioning? Does that mean that I've fell victim to someone's toxic, ways of believing? And the answer is yes. But it's like, if you go into judgment, that it's going to be like, okay, maybe it's not true, I don't even want to go there. Because it's like, you can't judge yourself for that. That's too heavy to carry. But there's another path, which is forgiveness, which is saying yes, but through no fault of my own. I didn't choose this. Like, maybe it was part of my path, my learning, yes. But, I didn't choose to hear this. I didn't choose these words. I didn't choose these thoughts. And the fact that they were there for me over and over again, and I had to eventually believe them. There is a learning curve in that, but there is no shame or guilt in that. I forgive myself for that. I absolve myself from that, because I am whole and I am fine, and I will believe what supports me. But really, that's the work right there, and that's a completely different card. And I don't even know what happened to the card I just had, you guys. Okay, I guess this is our third card. Okay, so we have the Ace of Swords. It is reversed. Now, that reversal right there is actually very fortunate. The aces don't really ever, in tarot, they don't ever have any... Well, I guess no tarot cards really have negative connotation. It's all a lesson, but when it comes to aces, whether they're upright or reversed, it's just the effect of them that's in question. It's not the nature. So the nature of the card doesn't change. The effect does, okay? So the effect of the Ace of Swords reversed is that of manifesting into reality. So when we see it like this, it is thought reaching into higher truths. So that means like meditation, channeling, what I'm doing right now. Do I have a Sagittarius in my room in the room with me? No. Do I know some Sagittarius friends that are on this live stream with me? Thankfully, yes, it's a privilege. But like, am I speaking to a specific person in particular? Not really, because I'm speaking to all of you, my Sagittarius friends. This is what I'm doing right now. I am reaching into higher, like literally with the crown right there. I am with that little right there. You know, it's perfect. It's just right there. It's just exactly as it's shown on the card. That's exactly what I'm doing. It's a perfect illustration. I'm reaching to a higher level of consciousness so that it serves a collective specifically defined as Sagittarius. So I'm like, I've set a parameter, I've directed my mind towards it, I brought my physical being, my concentration, my focus here, and here I am channeling this energy. That's what this card would mean upright. Not only that, but it's a good example. Now when it's reversed, okay, what it means is you're bringing everything you have been channeling and seeing, all your ideas and visions and all your thoughts, all your creative urgings, okay, and what this card is telling you is to bring it down into matter. That means you're really not 2024 for you Sagittarius, it's really not about sitting around and channeling anymore, you know, or dreaming up ideas, because you've dreamed up plenty, and yes, more are going to come through without you even trying. That's who you are. But I'm talking about, like, it's not about, okay, but what's the next idea that I channel? Like, no, you have channeled the ideas. It's time to make them reality. It's not about sitting around waiting for the next big vision, because you have like about 5 or 10. It's about saying, okay, specifically, okay, you know what? How about I stop looking for new ideas because they're going to come through regardless? How about of the ideas that I was blessed with already, how about I choose the one that I actually want to see come true? And I think for you, and you know what? I'm a Sagittarius rising myself. I'm connecting to an energy that feels very much at home with me. Like I'm familiar with the struggle to my core. I think this is where we really can relate, because I think the one thing that you're afraid of the most is actually choosing an idea, because that means you're now actually making it come true, which means it's actually on you to make it come true. And then this pressure, but you don't have to own the pressure. You have to take on okay, you know what? The pressure is what it is. And I can't control how it's going to come through regardless. It's going to be what it's going to be. There are other factors involved, other people, timing, scenarios, whatever. I'm just going to take the steps that are available for me to bring it into this physical matter. So you have to get over yourself, okay, you guys? And woof, did my Sagittarius friends, especially my best friend who happens to be a Sagittarius, did you guys and my spiritual and business mentors that have been Sagittarius, a lot of them, a lot of very significant ones as well, you guys taught me that it's not very helpful to put things on the pedestal. Because when you put things on the pedestal, all of a sudden you're below. And I've had my Sagittarius friends tell me this about relationships, especially the romantic kind, okay? And I've learned a lot from that. But I'm here to give you guys your precious gift back in a way that can possibly serve you in 2024. Is you can't put your dreams on the pedestal, okay? That's my mirror reflection of your lesson back to you, is you can't put your dreams on the pedestal, because the moment you put your dream on the pedestal, all of a sudden you're below. So that means when you say, oh, I have this vision, let's say for a book, I had this vision for a piece of art, I had this vision for a business, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, but this vision, oh my God, I can't touch it. It's so, oh my God, I saw this and I saw that, but how could I possibly, how could I? You know, I don't even have this money. I don't even have the stuff. I don't even have the charisma. I don't even have the capabilities. I don't even speak the language. I don't even use this medium of paint. You know, you can just go on, whatever it is. You can come up with a million things that you don't have or cannot do yet. And that creates a pedestal. And all of a sudden, your vision is there and you're here and you're like, oh, I'm just a humble servant of the vision. And I can't even get started on it because, well, it's so much above me. But you know what the thing is? It's only you who's putting it all the way up there. Because guess who the vision came to? You. Don't you think that it would be impossible for that to happen if the vision wasn't for you to manifest, okay? And I'm just going to use this little seemingly irrelevant background information as the sun rises every morning. The moon gets full at the end of every moon cycle. And the stars shine and the earth spins and all these planets are, you know, in harmony, in sync, rotating and spinning. And there's this whole universe at play. Are you doing any of that, Sagittarius? Are you sitting there and making the sun rise? Are you making the earth spin? Do you even think about that? Do you even tell yourself, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out? Do you do this all day? Do you tell yourself to breathe? No. You know what? You don't even do your own breathing. Your body does that. Your mind does not. Okay? Your mind doesn't make the earth spin. It just does. You know? Your mind couldn't freaking handle it. And it's not supposed to. Okay? Your job is not to figure out how you can be the perfect match to the perfect version of the vision that you receive. Your job is to actually bring it down to earth and to say, okay, you know what? I can see the fairy tale version of my vision, but in reality, let's be honest, you know, get some ego involved, actually. Ego is going to be healthy here because it's almost like it's unhealthy how little of your ego you want to bring into your own work, okay? You need some of that because otherwise you're gonna get yourself walked all over. No, I'm serious. Ego is healthy. It's part of human experience. You need to tell yourself, okay, myself, listen up. You know, I can see a fairy tale version of my vision, my creation, yeah? And one day maybe it will be that. Who knows? Maybe some people will help. Maybe some things will evolve, whatever. But right now I got the vision and I got me. And, you know, I can put it on a pedestal and I can never take even the first step. Or I can say, you know what? I got the vision. Bring your ego in. I got the vision. Who got the vision? I got the vision. Did anyone else get the vision? Did anyone else tell me about this idea? No. I got it. Okay? So if I got it, that means probably the universe wants me to do something about it because otherwise my neighbor Mary would get the vision instead or some person on the internet. But no, it's me and I have it. And so what am I going to do about it? And what am I going to do about it is not up for debate or judgment by invisible critics of every person that has ever judged me ever, right? Screw them. Like, no one's in the room with me. You know, I've channeled the vision already. I've gone there. I got it down. It's been brought down. It's downloaded. I got the inspiration. What am I going to do about it? Okay. This is going to be your whole 2024. Kill the pedestal. I've had my best friend who is here watching. Okay. In the past few days, this is just divine synchronicity. Tell me this. In a matter a little more personal. And she told me, okay, you do this pedestal thing where you put someone on the pedestal and then you put yourself on the pedestal as well. And then you're afraid to fall off the pedestal and then you're almost anticipating for them to fall off the pedestal and then it's just a mess. And it's absolutely true. I'm a Gemini sun sign. My best friend is a sun sign Sagittarius. And we mirror each other, you guys. To an extent, we are the opposite zodiac signs. We're just on the opposite end of the zodiac wheel. And so when it comes to Gemini, I can see not just myself, but my Gemini friends as well doing this when it comes to relationships. It's a big thing. It's a big lesson too. It's very valuable. But I feel like you guys do this with your dreams, and this is where we mirror each other. I think that you guys, you don't do this with relationships, but you do this with your dreams. You somehow think that your dreams are so far above you, but no one else has them. Trust me, no one else has your dreams, and no one else can. And the most tragic thing is that if you think that your dreams are above you, who is going to actualize them? Okay, I'm just gonna leave that there. All right. This is your tarot cards, because I could go on for like about another couple hours on just that message alone. But I have a special deck of oracle cards. I have not used them in any other zodiac readings. In fact, I have been pretty meticulous as to not repeat my oracle decks when it comes to zodiac readings. And this oracle deck is the goddess deck, the goddess oracle. So we're going to pull another 3 cards here. And you guys, just a special treat. I'm going to read out the chapters that come with these cards as well. I'm going to interpret them myself. I'm going to read the chapter. So there's going to be a little while longer to this reading, okay? Of course, we have the Hecate, the goddess of the crossroads, the in-between, the maiden, the mother, the crone. The second card we have here is Dano, assurance. And I have a little story with this goddess. And then the final one is Bridget, creative spark. Okay, so we're going to start with Hecate. I am writing a book. I'm actually writing several books at this time, but I'm writing a book where Hecate is actually the opening chapter. Hecate is the initiation into the feminine. It is the goddess of the 3 phases of a woman: the maiden, the mother, the crone. The maiden is the young woman who is coming into womanhood, experiencing her body, experiencing her monthly cycle, getting familiar with it, perhaps getting terrified by it, because, you know, it is a little terrifying. Becoming aware of her sexuality, becoming aware of her desires, and becoming aware of her emotions and whims, and at times not being able to control any of it. You know, this is the young woman who is tempted, who is tempting, who is innocent yet seductive. This is this phase of knowing your power and yet not quite being sure of how to use it. Okay, and experimenting with that for this kind of phase of the womanhood. We have the mother. The mother represents as well this kind of coming into your womanhood in a more grounded way. Now, for some women who are pursuing the path of creating a family, this is actually becoming a mother. For other women who choose a path of becoming a mother to just their own creations and not actual children, this is experiencing what it's like to birth something through your creative effort and no longer have ownership of it. And perhaps this comes with its own challenges of how does the public perceive it, or does it get any recognition, or how does it perform on its own when it's no longer just a part of you, okay? And then the final phase, the crone, is the wise old woman. The crone, the wise woman. Now, the wise woman is someone who is between the worlds. She remembers her youth. She remembers her womanhood. and she is still here, and yet she lives partly in the next world, which is where she draws the wisdom that she shares with younger generations. Okay, this is Hecate. She represents witchcraft. She represents intuition. She represents feminine magic. She represents that very thing that at the very beginning I talked about with the Empress card. That very thing that misogyny absolutely targets. All the three phases of women somehow become entangled with social agendas of has to be maiden means a virgin. Virginity has to be pure. Mother means married, a wife, someone's property, belongs in the kitchen, or some other agendas. And then the crone is like, oh, who cares? That's an old woman. That's an old hag, old maid, whatever, or, old grandma. This is the way society, this is the way the culture views women. This is the stuff that I was telling you about at the beginning, where you really have to burn the bridge that's connecting yourself to these teachings, these perceptions, because they are absolutely false. Maiden does not mean or imply virgin. Maiden, you guys, I don't know how it is for all the women, but for the women that I've met and known as a woman myself, when you're a maiden, you may physically be a virgin, but you certainly have desires and fantasies and ideas and things that you want to experience, whether it be, your one true love, or exciting experiences and adventures that are a little less restricted, whatever it is that you're into. Like, as a maiden, you're not on some pedestal of being holy and pure. You may be a virgin, but you are curious, right? Like, hello, like, remember being a teenager, like you have crushes, you fall in love, you want to experience things, you want to meet your, again, one true love, or you just want to fall in love, or you just want to, you want to see what it's like to be sexual, right? And then, when we look at the mother, it's not just wife, someone's property. It's like, what about motherhood being a journey of its own? What about no one other than the mother knowing what it's like to be a mother? And then this is reserved, yes, in some part to women actually giving physical birth. But at the same time, they talk about men creating things all the time, which is great. Men can certainly create things. But when it comes to a woman birthing a painting, or to a woman birthing a book, or to a woman birthing a business, what about that? That's not just creating, that's birthing, that's care, that's love, that's labor of love. Like, that's not just, that's just a wife, a mother, that's a creatrix right there. That's the womb that universes emerge out of, and the woman, the holder of the womb, connecting with that center and actually using it to power things such as life, ideas, projects, whatever it is, or all of the above. And then the crone, the old woman, the grandma, the old virgin, or the old grandma, two different directions. Old maid, old grandma, whether she gave birth or not, just whatever. That's a one and done. It's just not it. This is the wisdom of generations. This is ancient knowledge becoming available through a living being. Whether this woman who is a crone now is serving generations through her teachings, or students, disciples, or whether she's teaching her grandchildren or her children, whatever it is, her role is sacred. And the medicine that she embodies is beyond even her life experience. So Hecate represents this rite of passage. And Sagittarius, I feel like you're transitioning into one of those phases, or perhaps even reconnecting with some of those. You may be in a phase where you need to remember what it's like to be a maiden again. again, this culture, this religious stigma, it tells you, well, once you're not a virgin anymore, you're not a virgin anymore. And once you're, once you're beyond your mothering years, beyond when you can give birth to children, then you're an old woman. And that's just not true. As women, as Hecate, we can transition. We can be a crone, and we can appear as a maiden, and that happens. We can be a maiden, and we can be as wise as a crone. We can be a mother, and we can be a maiden in one moment with our beloved, and we can also be a crone to a child who needs wisdom, and this wisdom coming through us may feel like, where did that come from? There's no cutoff. There's no, you go there and then there and then there. And this is where masculine logic, and there's nothing wrong with it again, but masculine logic is linear. It is A to B to C. And the feminine energy is more non-linear. It is spiral. So in a spiral, you can be crossing loops several times. And you can intertwine, overlap timelines without having to be one or the other. Being all, being both, being three, being one, whatever it is, any combination of things. So the wisdom of Hecate is, Sagittarius, that you're both stepping into a new phase perhaps. But at the same time, I feel like the stronger message for the majority of you is that you get to visit whatever phase you need to visit. If I were listening to this message right now, if I were to on the receiving end of this message, as my rising sign Sagittarius, I would say that, I'm being drawn to tap into my crone energy, because she's the wisest of them all. She's the future version of me that is not yet. It's not like my future. It's like the accumulation of everything I already am and everything I have not yet become. It's not about finding out what's going to happen to me. It's about like, what kind of wisdom can she give me, right? That's what I'm feeling. If I were to be on the receiving end of it, which I am with all of my work, this is what's coming through for me. I feel like for some of you, you may need to go back to the maiden. You may be deep into the mother, or you may be even performing some duties of the crone, like being super wise, and not even really like being like, I'm wise, but like people ask you for advice, and you kind of have to channel this wisdom for them as the matriarch. Okay. But I feel like some of you really need to go back to the maiden. Like, you need to bring up your fantasies. You need to remember what makes you giddy, excited. You need to like get a little promiscuous dressed up. You need to maybe some some self pleasure practice or something, like explore your sexuality on your own. I don't know why that's coming up. It is coming up. We're just gonna flow with it. I feel like you need to play with these phases of womanhood, and you need to kind of visit some of them, even if you're not in that phase on your timeline. You can still play with them, and you can intercept with them. And I feel like that's what 2024 is going to be about for you, Sagittarius, okay? I said I'm going to read the chapters from the book. You guys, I'm not feeling it. I don't feel like going through the pages and reading chapters right now. I just feel like channeling. That's what's happening. So it is what it is. Change of course. The second card here is Dano. This is assurance. Now, you guys, I have a little story with this card. I got this card. I have two of these cards. I have only one deck, and I have two of this specific card because it was part of the package that was given to me by a previous friend of mine, and someone that I hired to create this curated box for me. And then our relationship went in a very wrong spiritual day. Like, it was just charged. It was not good. And so it was like, it felt like it's an ending. And that box that I ended up purchasing, I never opened. And so there was this feeling like, this isn't for me. Like, I need to donate whatever's in it and burn the rest. And that's what I ended up doing. But when I actually opened the box, this card was in there, and it was assurance. And it was very ironic because like it was the assurance of that it's not for me. So, you know, I feel like this story, this card, this message, that's why I don't want to really read the chapters, because, you know, I feel like the messages that are coming through are going to be more accurate than the actual descriptions for you guys. So what I'm feeling here is that you may get some assurance in 2024 that some things are not for you. But you know what, you guys? You can't take it personally. You cannot be like, what's wrong with me? You know, why did they not choose me? Why is this not for me? What is wrong with me? What did I do wrong? Where did I mess up? Where did I go wrong? That's not it. It's assurance that this isn't for you. And you know what, you guys? Something I know about Sagittarius, and this is, you know, I've done this to other signs, so don't get mad at me, okay? I've done this for other signs as well, not for all of them. But when it comes through, it comes through. I have to say it. This is your weakness, Sagittarius. This is your weakness that very few people know about, and some of you are not even fully owning it, which is okay. But your weakness is you intuitively know when things are not right for you. And when it's confirmed, something changes and you go like, where did I mess up? But you knew something was wrong with the thing. And when it's confirmed, like, okay, I'll just give you an example. And you know what, let's make it romantic, because I don't want it to be super serious. I want it to just be like, you know, a guy. All right, so like not even the love of your life, like just like a guy. Let's say there's a guy. Okay, let's say there's a guy. You met a guy. Okay, it's an all right guy. You know, nothing wrong with the actual human, but it's like for you, attraction wise, like yeah, all right. You know, I could see myself having like a conversation or something, or like maybe a date, and then you know you're getting ready for the date, and you have this feeling like, yeah, you know, I'll go on that date, but you know, I have something, I kind of feel like it's just maybe not my guy, you know? And then you go on the date, and then you know, the guy says, you know what? I think you're stunning. I think you're wonderful, but, you know, I don't think this is us. Like, I don't think this is it. And you go home and you're like, what did I do wrong? Like, what did I do wrong to mess this up? And like, but somehow it's almost like you black out about your own intuition that told you that's not your guy, like before the date even happened. Okay. So it's almost like you feel something. You're like, yeah, maybe it's not for me. And then you're like, I'll still give it a chance. That's a choice, by the way. That's a choice. And you know what? If you were to fully trust your intuition, maybe you wouldn't even make it. But, you know, that's another conversation right there. That I would say would probably be best for a private client, because it's going to be a long talk. And there's some pathways to work on this. Okay, you guys, it's not for this conversation. But, you know, you say, okay, but I'll go and give it a chance. You know, well, how could it hurt? You know, so you go. And then it doesn't work out, and then you take it personally. But where did the realization that it's not for you go? Like, where did this intuitive awareness that you had prior to it not working out? Like, how do you forget that? Because your intuition never lies. But then you kind of sneakily, sort of, almost ignore it, and then you get super personally rejected by it not working out. But it's like your intuition already told you, and you could have saved yourself that experience. But it's almost like you would like the experience of rejection to be more legitimate than the fact that your intuition told you already it's not for you and you still went. Okay? That kind of assurance is, you guys, it's coming up for 2024. I honestly would rather you not have that kind of assurance, because that kind of assurance sucks. And you guys, you take it personally, and I don't think it's really about not taking it personally. That's not really the message here. Is how about not put you through how about not put yourself through that? How about don't go? How about your intuition tells you it's not for you and you say, okay. How about you trust yourself? Or how about your intuition tells you it's not for you, you still go, and then it doesn't work out, and then you don't take it personally because you're like, wait a minute. I remember leaving the house tonight and my intuition told me probably not for me. So how about I take this as a confirmation that my intuition never lies to me, because it doesn't. It's almost like you're testing your intuition and you're making yourself lose when these things happen. And you know what? That hurts you. And it's not necessary. It's optional. And you can make a different choice, okay? But you have to make that choice. I'm having such a strong ring in my left ear right now. I know I'm still a little under the weather, but like, man, is it. It sounds like a real sound at this point, you guys. This is probably the most important message of the whole reading. Like, stop making this game a lose-lose situation for yourself. If you can take a win from your intuition telling you something and trust it, that's a win. If your intuition tells you something and then you go and you find out that it was true, that's a win. That's a confirmation. But if your intuition tells you something's not for you and you want to make it for you, but it's not for you, I'm sorry, Sagittarius, it's still not for you. The universe cares about you too much. It's not going to be putting up with you saying, oh, it's not for me. I'm going to make it for me. Here, it's for me now. Because you know what? That's not in your best interest. And you're too important for the rest of this world to be treated like this, even if that's what you would accept. But don't accept it, okay? Stop. I don't know what else to say, and I don't want to get any more heated, so I'm just going to move on. So we have Bridget, the last card, okay, the creative spark. This is the coming of spring. So I'm getting spring. I'm getting soon, because, yeah, spring is right around the corner, honestly. Springtime. Something's happening for you in springtime. Again, I'm not one to fortune tell, but this seems like a timeline. This seems like something's on the horizon. Pay attention to spring. I feel like you're gonna have an awakening in spring, is I think what's gonna happen. I don't know what's gonna happen, but and it's not my job to know what's gonna happen. It's way above my pay grade in this particular reading, okay? But springtime, awakening. You know, the seeds for spring are planted in the dead of winter. I feel like what you guys are longing for now in the winter, it's gonna start kind of showing up in the spring, and it's gonna take off from there. I'm not gonna get too personal with this message because I feel like this is your innermost desires. These are your sacred dreams. Whether it's love or expression or, you know, a long time vision coming to fruition, you know, whatever it is, it feels like it's super personal. Like your heart's innermost desires. Watch out for spring. But you know what? Now when it's winter, it's almost like I'm getting a vision of, like, you know, light up that, you know, light the fire in the fireplace. Like, gather around the fireplace and light it, you know, and warm your hands around it. It's almost like it's like a fairy tale vision of like a little hearth, you know, the fireplace, and you know, and you're putting these logs in, and you're lovingly just lighting them, and you're standing there like you're warming your hands, but you're looking at that warm fire. You're looking at the fire, but you're seeing the spring, and you're seeing like the flowers and the sunshine and there's the hope. You know, there's great hope, great desires, secret desires. No one's supposed to know about them, and no one shouldn't. And I'm not even like, I wouldn't even peek, you guys, for real. That is sacred, okay? That's yours. Very personal for each of you. Your innermost desires. But it's like, keep them warm, okay? Keep them warm. Snuggle up with them, you know? Keep that fireplace burning. Warm your hands around it. Lean closer, you know? And feel that warmth. And just think of the spring. Like, magic is coming for you guys in 2024. This is a very powerful reading. This is a lot of work too, I know. But I love you guys so much, and I've poured my entire heart and soul into it, and I hope you enjoyed the reading. There is a way to work with me in 2024, which is linked here on the Facebook transmission. It's also on other platforms where I'm reposting this content in the description. So it's an investment, okay? It's a commitment for an entire year. Currently it's $1,999. It's gonna go up to $2,400 on January 1st. I'm gonna be promoting it through January, and then the actual year of us together begins on the Lunar New Year. So that's a little into the new year. So it's not January 1st, okay? In January, we would have our retreat together. It's spending an entire day together. It consists of 3 parts. There's divination, where I work with you. I work with my tools. I supply you with some tools so that you can practice divination on your own while being supported by me, which is essentially allowing the guidance to come through you directly. It's like an intuitive development exercise. It allows you to expand your own psychic capacities. It allows you to experience what it's like to receive guidance directly on your own, which is great advantage, not just for 2024, but in general. It's like a psychic intensive. I believe everyone is psychic. And so this is something that I just open you up to a little bit, depending on where you are. It's either expansion or it's the initial opening, okay? If you're completely inexperienced, that's totally fine. If you're a little bit advanced, then it's going to be very exciting. The second part, we do the shamanic medicine journey, where as a shaman, I help you release things that you are not willing or able or desiring to carry into the new year of 2024. As a shaman, I help you clear these things in an expeditious way. What does it mean that I'm a shaman? Is that I work things through my physical body. Don't worry, you guys, I'm very well trained for this. I've been on this journey for quite a few years. I work very closely with the medicine that is ayahuasca. And I'm trained for this work, so I don't take anything on, but it does work through my body. I'm not going to get too deep into it, but essentially the benefit for you is that things are moved through more quickly and seamlessly than if you were to do it just on your own. This is the gift that we can give to each other. And as a shaman, this is the greatest gift, okay? So this is the second part of our day together. And then the third part is you just receiving. I'm channeling for you. No more cards, no more tools, just pure channeling. I have a unique capacity to translate the things that I channel for you on your behalf into the language that is not just hearing profound things and not remembering what they were afterwards, but like hearing things in a way that you understand, fully comprehend, and are able to apply them to your actual life. This is something that I've worked on for my entire lifetime. English is not my first language. I'm very skilled when it comes to the realm of words and translation. So this is something that my clients have told me for years now that is one of the greatest advantages, as you know, as it comes to working with me as a channeler, is that I am able to translate whatever is coming through into a language that can be fully understood and embodied and integrated, that can actually serve a human being and change their life. So that's our day together, okay? That allows us to create this blueprint for a year ahead. And then for the rest of the year, every moon cycle, 13 moons. There are 13 moons in a year, in a lunar year. We start on the Lunar New Year, and we go for the entire 13 moon cycles. Each moon cycle, you receive a reading from me. It's a psychic reading. You get different cards, different channeled messages. I give you the opportunity to set the theme or to ask specific questions. If it feels like you're just open to kind of just seeing what's out there, which personally I prefer sometimes, because sometimes I feel like my questions can almost limit what's coming through. We just tap into what's coming through. We dissect it together. You get to ask, you get to clarify, you get to request additional messages on the topics that you desire to concentrate on. And you get to receive laser coaching from me as well. And this is how we spend an entire year together following our one-day retreat. I think this is one of the greatest gifts that you can give yourself, especially if you have been feeling like it's your time to work with me. It's definitely a commitment on my end as well. This is a tremendous gift that I'm offering just in the scope of the work that we will be doing together. I'm very excited about it. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out, discuss. There is never any kind of pressure environments in talking to me. If you've worked with me or talked to me before, you already know that. I hope you enjoyed your reading, you guys. I hope you benefit from this forecast, my Sagittarius friends. I love you guys so much. Thank you for being part of it. Thank you for being here. And I'm very much looking forward to seeing you again very soon. Happy New Year, happy holidays. All of my love, all of my heart. Mwah. Until the next time. Bye.